Welcome back to Pole Barn Garage, where today we're going to get on this 1965 Chevy C10 SHORTBED and see if it'll run and drive again. It's not in terrible shape. Most of the cab has been deleted. It's got a full set of Baja wheels on it, which is cool. I picked this up off a buddy for 1,500 bucks. He wasn't going to do anything with it, so as he said, he figured I might. Well, here we are. The seat is, oh no.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, what's this? We're definitely not going to burn all that.
Yeah.
Actually, don't. Yeah, definitely not. I've never seen ants eat an entire seat.
Yeah. They literally ate the whole thing.
Doesn't smell like anything in there. Does it have a gas tank? It does. Well, it may not be as bad as I thought. The bed has had a lot of custom body work done. I think it's constructed entirely out of body filter. The bed floor is wood, as all these trucks are. Looks like all the front end parts are in the back here. The grill, looks like filler panel. I think we have a complete truck, maybe. More custom body work.
More missing
Truck.
car.
It's in here. More ants. We're gonna have to get some Raid. Ooh, lots of room in the glove box. No glass in this door. Here's the back window. Got one flat tire. The rest have air in them. Under the hood, you got a 6-cylinder of some kind. Well, it's a 65, so it'd be a 230. I think it's a 236, the Thrift Master. I see some things that stick out to me, like this late model HEI and coil. And so maybe it's a 292. I'm not sure really how to tell. It does have a split header on it. It's for duals.
Ooh, that's
dual
cool.
exhaust, yeah. Still running the generator though. No alternator. That didn't come till 66. It is a 3-speed. Would have been a 3 on the tree once upon a time in its life. But somebody's moved it to the floor and done a really good job of it. These trucks are worth quite a bit of money finished. I don't think this one is though. Nope. The Monojet 1-barrel isn't locked up. It's got a Reman sticker on the side. Remanufactured by Holly. Okay. Hell, maybe it's good.
I bet it'll work.
It might. These freaking 1-barrels, they never don't work, pretty much. Jay, will you go get some ant killer?
Yeah.
I'll go get a battery. Yep, that'll take care of them. I guess actually I want to look in the gas tank first, see what we're working with in here. It doesn't look that bad. I'm willing to try it. Now, just in case I'm wrong, I'll have JD go ahead and rip off the fuel line, go into the carb. We get an idea of what it looks like if it starts cranking and pumping. I don't hear anything going on. I don't see any fires.
No.
Good. Yeah, this is. You could play bass on that battery cable. We have no keys. I don't know if. Looks like. Oh yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Somebody's just shoved a screwdriver into it. That works for me. It didn't do anything though, if you noticed.
Yeah.
And maybe it's got a clutch switch in it. Okay, well, we're off to a great start. I think that's. I think that's neutral.
That's definitely neutral.
Okay.
You've got my word for it.
Let's try to jump the solenoid, see what it does. Wow.
Nothing?
Why did the wipers started working? Oh my god.
Why are the wipers working?
I don't know. Oh. Okay.
Okay,
Well, it spins. I think we just got bad connections to the starter here. Look at them, they're really rusty.
Might want to clean them up.
Yeah, maybe we just take them off, maybe get a new battery cable.
Yeah.
Let's clean up that battery terminal on the starter. And I found this extra cable I had laying around, so we'll throw it on there. I could tell right away all of that is wired incorrectly. On the resistor side of that solenoid, that's the bypass for the ignition. So whenever it cranks, it delivers 12 volts to the coil. But they have a lot of other things going to it. And also it has electronic ignition. You don't need that. So that's a problem. We're gonna have to probably address that. I noticed that this is the coil power here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's also kind of a problem. But let's just get the thing to crank with a key And, you know.
Then we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll go one step at a time here, yeah. It occurred to me why, when I arced to this terminal, we had wipers. Like I said, that's for the ignition bypass only. They have everything running into it. I think this heavy red wire here is actually cabin power. That comes out of the ignition switch. So this needs to be landed on the battery terminal so that the ignition switch has power. And the rest of the truck gets distributed power via the ignition switch. Not the resistor terminal on the starter solenoid. I just hooked the battery back up. I had to unplug the windshield wiper switch because they just kept going. It's been homemade as well. But let's see if the key switch works at least. Weird. It only has 2 positions in this. Oh, it's smoking. Battery.
Oh.
So it started melting on this wire nut that's been shoved in here. I'm gonna guess that this has something to do with it. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah?
No, actually.
No, probably definitely
Yeah,
not.
probably
No, whoever wired this truck is a certified genius, I think. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
This is a bigger problem than I anticipated.
Yeah, I was really, there's the brake light switch just fell apart. Everything on here is cheap, like help section crimp connectors that aren't crimped. Looks like I did this when I was like 12. Something shorted to ground because it was melting the ground cable in the battery.
The right thing to do would just be to rip it all out.
Correct. You are correct. I'm going to say there's no fusible links in it. Otherwise, oh my god, what is going on here? Oh, yep, it's the switch. I have it hooked up right now, right? I just kind of stuck it back together there. It was not the wire nut, actually. And if I touch crank, it works.
Yeah.
So, something in the switch is shorted. Whenever I try to crank it, you know, immolates.
So we just need a new switch or...
New switch and rewire, clean up some of the wiring there, but we don't need to start from scratch.
Yeah.
It's something. Put a new ignition switch in. We've got lights on the dash. It doesn't crank very good, but it does crank. So I think we solved that problem at least. We just got back from Texas, and I think I need to work on this again. I don't remember what the hell we were doing. Somebody remind me. So I'm sorry for the continuity break, but that's the way she goes sometimes. Well, I know I got it to crank last time I messed with it. I got ignition power now. So we should just need fuel, assuming that distributor's installed correctly, and assuming my memory's not faulty. Well, looks like the ants stayed dead, so that's a win. Fuel? Put some gas in it, see what happens. Kinda looks like a newer fuel pump. Maybe we get lucky? Remember, me and JD looked in here and it didn't look too bad. Let's give it a shot. I am just that stupid. Let me go get some gas to put in the carb there and I'll see if it goes vroom. Well, I just poured some gas down the carburetor and it immediately ran out the bottom, so that's a good start. We're not going to be starting much of anything cranking that slow. I know we have power going to our coil, but is this HEI module good? Is it even installed correctly? I doubt it. I've got a starter I could throw on the thing. That would probably make life a lot easier, but I'd rather do it in the shop. Well, I'm guessing we have no spark. So let me check that coil there. I pulled the coil off, and at least from a resistance check, it seems to be okay. I can't get a reading on the secondary side of it, but I couldn't get a reading on 3 other coils I had, and I don't think they're all bad. So I'm just going to skip ahead and throw a module in this thing real quick. Typical 4-pin GMHEI module. These things are very common to go bad. I can see this is an original one, which means it's probably the best one we'll ever have. Let me swap that out with this new one I had laying around. Well, let's see what happens. See if we have any spark. Now, let me go make sure the key's on. I'm just going to check for spark at the plug. I'm going to shove a screwdriver and a spark plug boot here and just try to arc it off of something. Yep, and let me go ahead and check for spark out of the coil. We got no spark out of the coil. Of course, doesn't mean a whole hell of a lot. Now, would you look at that? That would be the signal wire from the distributor. What do you want to bet? That was our problem. Yes, now we have spark. I'm sure she'll just kick off now. Well, I heard backfires at the tailpipe, which tells me the distributor is probably in wrong. So I'd like to go ahead and verify that, and then we're probably going to end up having to put a starter on it. Yank number 1 out of here, which is the very front one, and we're going to roll it over to top dead center on number 1. Number 1 is on its compression stroke at the top of its stroke. When it's at the top of its stroke, the distributor rotor should be pointing at numero uno. With my finger in the spark plug hole, I'm going to bump it, which is easy to do on a 6-cylinder. It's right here. When the piston comes up, it should make compression and blow my finger out of the hole. Alright, that's pretty much it. That felt like compression. Yeah, and our timing mark is in the vicinity, and that felt like pretty good compression out of there. I'm pretty sure it was the compression stroke. Or the exhaust valve's frozen shut, which is very possible.
But little did past Dalton know, it was not only possible, but certain.
Pull the distributor out. And I'm going to turn the rotor to where I think it's supposed to go. She ought to face about 5 o'clock or so. May have to turn the oil pump drive shaft as well. So you can use that with a flat blade screwdriver. You just turn it. Just a hair. So I've got the distributor set down in here. We can see the rotor is pointing at about 430. This thing has about 1,000 degrees of rotation. It's a Chevy, so it rotates clockwise. We'll go ahead and position our number 1 pole here just ahead of that rotor. And that should be enough advance to get us fired up. And I'm just going to snug that hole down enough that we can still twist around on that thing. And then let's see if we've got some vroom vrooms out of her. Before we try to fire it again, let's verify firing order. So we know where number 1 is. It's right here. And we know we rotate clockwise, so we're going to follow the firing order around clockwise. Firing order is cast into the intake. 153624. So this is 1. This one should be 5. It's not. It's 6. Okay, we're already wrong. 6 and 5 were flipped. So it really never had a chance. I don't think this thing has ran ever. And the more I look at it, the more I'm pretty sure this is a late model engine with the EGR valve and the HEI. Maybe it's out of like a late 70s truck or something. Maybe it's a 292. That would be really cool. Let's see what it does now. This is, third time's a charm. Just in time for it to start raining too. I don't think it's gonna spin fast enough for us to start. Fine, I'll put a start. A slight problem. That starter doesn't look anything like the starter I got. So that does kind of indicate that this is not a 230. Casting number comes back as a 250, which didn't come out until 66. This truck is a 65. I'm gonna have to get another starter. So we're kind of delayed for the day. Let me get this off of here and make sure I get the correct one. He's definitely bad. He's hot still. But it doesn't look anything like the one I got. There's 3 different kinds of starters for these, I guess. There's the one I got bolts to the bell housing. And these later ones are more like a typical small block Chevy. But I don't have any manual transmission starters laying around. The nose cone is different. So I went ahead and ordered one. It was cheap. Here's the 2 different styles for reference. You can see you got 3 bolts here that would have mounted in the bell housing. Well, on the plus side, the gas tank clearly has a hole in it. Shit. I went ahead and ordered a gas tank and filler neck, all that stuff too. Yeah, I'll keep the one in the cab too, because I like to live dangerously. Well, I guess while we wait on a starter, I could go ahead and throw some tires on the thing. I mean, we at least got to do this one. It won't take air. Definitely want to keep these Baja wheels. I think they're kind of cool. And we'll dig into the brakes later on too, but for now, let's see if we get a tire. Alright, I'll see you in an hour when I finally get this tire off of here. It's easier than I thought.
75 years later.
Well, that took forever. That's a very wide wheel. I think it's a 10-inch wheel. That took like 45 minutes. Okay, for one. I may not do all of these right now, but at least it'll have 4 aired up tires. Well, that looks stupid. That tire's too short. I guess they'd be okay on the front. This one's a 275/60 over here. Both of these are. That looks quite a bit better. That's a much wider tire. Would have been a lot easier to put on. As much as a pain in the ass as that was. I'm just going to buy a set of new tires because I don't like the looks of that, really. 255/70/15 would be a good look on here. And they're cheap on PriorityTire.com. We occasionally work with, not working with right now, but I still buy everything there because they're the cheapest place to buy tires, period. I just got a set of brand new tires for this thing, free shipping. $375 for 255/70/15. Got our new starter here, remanufactured in El Cheapistan. This one is a staggered pattern instead of a straight pattern. It said it was for a manual transmission. Yeah, no, this won't work. I might try to just put the nose cone from the old starter on this one. That might be worth trying. Maybe I can just use the new motor from the reman and then use the cone off of this one. Take out the 2 bolts that go all the way through, and you take out the 2 screws that hold that on. And you can get the nose cone off. Get our armature out of here, and maybe we can just swap this onto that. Okay, there's the new nose cone. Let's put this one on. Solenoid reattached. You see, I'm very pro here, working on my pro workbench, otherwise known as my lap. You know, it's just a kind of high dollar operation we got going here. Pro YouTuber stuff. Ah, word business. Look at that. Totally remanned. Brand new. You guys think they'll notice anything if I just return that? Nah, they'll never know. Alright, there we go. One brand new kind of starter. Yeah. Nice. Yep. Trying to do something. Oh, it's spraying fuel now. Fuel pump works. I'm just gonna hook it up. What could possibly go wrong? A little more timing. Oh my God, that looks really bad. Did I reinstall the distributor on the exhaust stroke? Kinda feeling like I might have. I'm gonna pull number 1 out again. We're gonna just verify. Yeah, it's 180 out. Oopsies. That's my bad, guys. The exhaust valve must be kind of stuck, because it does blow out on the exhaust stroke, but when it hit the compression stroke, it really blew my finger out, like it pushed it out of the hole. Take 2 or 3, 4, I don't know. Come on, baby. Almost. Let's give it a little bit more timing. Can't beat them. Old 6-banger. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's running for the first time since whoever put this engine in did it, because there's no way that's ever ran. Not with how it was all messed up. Very cool. Let's see if we can get it to run a little better. Let me rebuild this carburetor. All right, that should be good now. Idle's really nice. Better. Oh God, it smokes really bad. Well, that's fine. We didn't see any of that. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any antifreeze in it, so let's get that filled up before we go too crazy here. Let's see if I can get that thing to run just a smidge better. Maybe we'll actually throw a timing light at it, but this should get us into the shop, which is the goal here. We'll just fill it with some water since we're gonna have to get into this anyways. It's not very low, actually. It's a good sign. or maybe a bad side, depending how much. Oh my God, it leaks really bad. Okay, I've disconnected and plugged the vacuum advance. Now I've got my timing light on here. It looks like it calls for about 8 degrees before top dead center, so let's go ahead and get it set where it needs to be. Yeah, that leaks a lot. Yeah, it leaks a lot, like a lot. I don't trust that mark. We'll just set it where it feels good. I didn't know I was going to take a bath. It's pretty common for those balancers to slip. They're vulcanized together with rubber in them, and they slip over time. It was showing like 20 degrees right there, and that's about where it sounded happiest. I know that's not correct, but it sounded okay. Good enough for now. I think this thing's got some sticky valves in it. There's a couple of ways you can help that out. I like to just pour a little water down the carburetor, and it kind of steam cleans the inside of the engine. You just drip a little bit of water down it as it's running, and that vaporizes, breaks up carbon, and it does a pretty good job of it, and it don't cost a penny. Let me fire up Old Faithful, the geyser here. Sounds quite a bit better. The thing is with that, any of this haze you see that comes out of it, that's actually carbon. It's, you know, like seafoam and stuff, it's just kerosene. Yeah, you pour it in there, it's gonna smoke, it's oil. And it works just fine, but this does too. I suppose we ought to see if we have a clutch. Okay, that was a forward gear. Yeah, first time that's moved in a while. I have no idea what's going on with this thing. This reverse is up here somewhere. So a 3-speed should be down left is first, second, third. Obviously it leaves a little to be desired in here. Got good oil pressure. Alright, let's see. That should be reversed. It is. So, this should be first. Alright, yeah! All right. It's getting a little bit better. No brakes, so going down this hill will be kind of interesting. All right. I left one of the tires kind of flat, so it should slow it down a little. Well, there goes the hood. much clutch left. Now we got her in the shop here. Let's dive into the brakes. You know, there's no getting around it. We got to do them. So let's dive right in, get her up in the air, get the wheels off. Just got it up in the air, and lo and behold, look at that. That's not good. Both sides. Broken U-bolt. So we better address that. The drums are all here. That's something. Let's start on the front here, because that's the important half. Grease cap off. Bearing out of there. Hopefully we can salvage these, because I didn't buy any. Now to get the drum off. Come on. There we go. That took a little bit of doing, but we got her. Everything's here. Hell, even the shoes look like brand new. I think somebody worked on this a long, long time ago, and then it just sat. Oh, well, that's less than ideal. No hardware. That's fantastic. Well, hopefully I have some. Also, I looked up the correct U-bolts for this, and they don't look like this, I don't think. And judging by the half of a leaf spring stuck there, I mean, I don't know if this stuff is correct or if this is someone's homemade everything. I really don't know, but I think I can go to the farm store and get some trailer U-bolts that look pretty much like that. So if this is your first time looking at a drum brake, don't be scared of it. I mean, break it down to its parts. You got like 6 springs. That's all there is to it. And you have the 2 nails of retaining springs that hold it to the backing plate. I just take a pair of vice grips, stretch them springs out, get them clamped on there real good. Just like that. And we will slowly disassemble this. And if it's your first time taking a drum brake apart, or even if it's your 20th time doing it, leave the other side together so you have a reference. We're going to try to get that brake line broke free. That's never going to happen. And when I break it, then we're going to make some brake lines. And it'll be done just like... oh, hell. Now here's something worth noting. See this brake adjuster here? It's locked up solid. While we're taking this thing the rest of the way apart and putting it together, let's go ahead and get this thing soaking so it has a chance at freeing up. And when I'm taking apart a brake, I usually just set everything in the drum, and I just kind of place the springs and everything roughly where they go, just to save time. Probably one of the best penetrating lubricants is anything with automatic transmission fluid. 50/50 ATF and naphtha in here, just some kind of solvent to thin it out and let it creep into the threads. Let that baby soak for a while, and 9 times out of 10 it works every time. Let's go ahead and try to get the brake line off. Now what I'm going to do first is just cut the rubber line. And that's going to give me a little additional purchase. We cut the rubber line, we remove the clip that retains the brake hose. Now, theoretically, we'll be able to spin that. Take a 5/8 socket on the rubber hose side, and then now I'm able to, it broke immediately. Excellent. So now, as I was saying, we'll just go ahead and replace that brake line and all the rest of them. And yeah, that's... well, that being the case, let's go ahead and remove the wheel cylinder. These are weird. Huge bolt right through the middle. It's kind of like a Ford wheel cylinder with that hoop on it, but it uses just a big bolt instead of a nut. I didn't know that was a thing. One other little thing I want to point out before we really start reassembling these is there are 2 different shoes for each drum. One has a lot of brake pad, one has a little bit of brake pad. So remember, Bob, big on back. So the big brake pad goes on the back. After soaking in our ATF mix, the brake adjuster has come around. It spins pretty nice now. I want to go ahead and assemble all the brakes, then we'll start worrying about brake lines. Mostly because I don't want to do it. I'm putting it off. I'm just going to repack the original bearings here. They're not in great shape, but they're good enough for what this is. What we do is just put a little grease in our palm here. I soak mine in a little bit of super clean or, you know, some kind of degreaser. And then I let them soak in there, and then a quick rinse with some brake clean really takes care of them quick. They got another 60 years in them, I imagine. Here's our outer bearing. It's nice and clean. You can see old Timken. Still in great shape. And then we're going to move on to the rear brakes where we are missing some hardware. This side's done. Brake is reasonably adjusted. Good enough. Now I have a bunch of this silver tractor paint left over. Let's go ahead and put a brand new drum on it. Look at that. Fresh out of the forge. Brand new. Don't look too close. I have a bunch of random crap here that I think we can make a semi-functioning brake with. And we've got to straighten some of this stuff, but that's okay. Not gonna lie to you guys, it's pretty bad. But it's a rear brake, so if it was a front, I would probably wait a couple of days, get the right parts, and then fix it correctly. But it's not. Sure. Yeah, this will technically be a brake, probably. Yeah. It's on the rear, it's fine. Just keep remembering that. Let's put the drum on this and never look at it again. For reference, that's an A-body hardware kit. That's Ford hardware. That's one new wheel end link. This is the wrong adjusting mechanism. Yeah. No, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Rebuild?
Brand new brakes in there. All 4 brake drums are done. Had to put a new adjuster in that one, but other than that, it went together no problem. Last thing I'm going to do tonight is pull one of the U-bolts off so I can go get all 4 new U-bolts tomorrow. Broke that one. Nope, there's enough of that to tell me which one I need, though.
Yeah.
Good God.
Oh, hoo, hoo. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, let's change them all.
Really?
Yeah, probably. Let's get this old master cylinder off of here. I was able to get the line broke free with some vice grips. Yep. I don't think dust should fall out of that. Here's our new master cylinder. Now, initially I was kind of impressed. It looks a lot like the old one until I read it. Brake fluid use only .3 brake. Oh, good God. Let's get this baby bench bled and installed. Then we'll start making a bunch of brake lines. Yeah, come on now. Come on now. What's this? It's the remnants of an industrial zip tie. Probably holding something important together. We gotta replace these front brake lines here. Handy that they're only about a foot long. I suspect they've been kind of jury-rigged in here. There's a T over here, running to a T over here, which T's to the rear. It's all pretty homegrown in here, but I guess it works, so I'll leave it alone. Maybe that's maybe that's factory, I don't know. I'm gonna try to get these lines off, then we'll make some new ones. For whatever bizarre reason, this thing has 1/4-inch brake lines going to every single corner of it. I have a roll of 1/4-inch tube here, and I mean, had I known they were only like little stubs, I would have just bought pre-made stubs, but you know, let's save a couple bucks and make our own lines here. I'll be using my SUR&R flare tool here. Not sponsored, I just really like them. They don't even know who I am, unfortunately, because I think they make a lot of good tools. I roughly eyeballed how long we need for this, and I'm pretty sure the other side will be the same. So we'll just make 2 of these. Pull out the deburring tool on my cutter here. Just lightly run around the inside of them with it. It's really important here is that you get a nice straight cut with no burrs. Here's my SUR&R tool here. You can look it up to see how it works and if you want one. I can tell you just from experience, it's probably the nicest flaring tool I've ever used in my life. It holds itself together so the dies don't fall out. I completed operation 1, forming the outside flare. Now I will drive the cone in for operation 2. And boom, I have a flare. And I like to use an impact to hold these dies in here. It'll work for sure. I'm going to repeat that process, 3 more times on the front. Then we got to make 2 lines for the rear, and we should have a brake system. Front brake lines are done. We got to do the rear axle lines. Let's knock it out. Well, actually, what does this do? Is this holding the truck together? I suspect it is. Oh, it's holding the exhaust on. Well, I like that, yeah. I gotta wait till JD gets done mowing the yard to bleed these brakes. So let's go ahead and change out those U-bolts. Closest I could get were these, and they're a 9/16 thread, so they're gonna be heavier duty. I don't know, I'll have to use this big Milwaukee step bit to cut that big. I don't have a 9/16 bit. We just have to drill the lower plate on the axle. Try to hog these out one at a time. That way I can just put the new U-bolt in and not have to drop the whole axle. Let's see if this Milwaukee step bit's all it's cracked up to be. I've heard they're pretty good. I've always wanted to try one. Damn. That thing's a hoss. That is very, very impressive. It's definitely 2 1/4, not 2 1/2, but the bolt holes were 2 1/2. I think this is all just kind of made out of whatever the hell they had. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. JD's about done mowing the yard. We're gonna hold off on the brakes till he gets here. I like to pressure bleed these systems. Meantime, we could paint up these wheels. I got some new tires for it. Good selling point considering this thing's kind of a flipper. Before we take them up to get mounted, I might as well clean them and paint them. So I got a quart of white tractor paint. We get those Bajas looking like new. I'm just gonna rough these up with a wire wheel a little bit and then brush paint them with tractor paint. They don't gotta be perfect, just a little better than this. Looks like someone's already painted them with house paint. JD helping wire wheel these things with the whiz wheel. We got one left. Here's the paint we're going to use. Van Sickle, of course, tractor paint. Cheap paint brushes. And just slather them. They'll be dry by tomorrow to get the new tires on. I think they need one more coat, but those actually look pretty dang good. And if you don't think we prepped them enough, I painted the wheels on Old Blue over here about 8 years ago with tractor paint. Right over the rust and everything, and they look fine. JD just got done putting the last coat on the wheels. They look tremendous. So let's bleed some brakes and figure out all the brake lines that are going to explode. Oh my god, it's like tar. But it's a nice solid stream. There we go. Much better. Alright, I think that's it on this one. Oh yeah. Brakes working now. These freaking GM front wheel cylinders are almost impossible to get to. Can't get a line wrench on them. Can't get an open end wrench on them. Hardly, without stripping them. Let me go get a socket, I guess, and we'll just play it by ear, literally. God, this thing is pouring gas out of it. We should probably do the gas tank next.
Okay, well, I'm holding.
Alright. Wow! I think we might have good brakes. What do they feel like? Dang!
Decent.
Yeah, it's got brakes. That was alarmingly easy, actually. So let's do something difficult.
If we don't change this gas tank before that puddle of gasoline reaches this fire right here, we're all gonna die.
Yep. Well, let's get this fuel tank out of here.
Before we all die.
Don't dump the gas everywhere. We don't want the fire.
You're really supposed to pull the seat to do this. So I'm not going to do that. Let me get a pry bar.
Oh, okay.
Be gone.
Oh, this thing's very gross.
Shit.
Dump it out.
Not on the wheels.
Not on the fire.
Here's our new tank we got from Speedway. Tank's really nice. Fast shipping too, because they're only up in Nebraska. However, how the hell is that supposed to work?
I don't know.
That's the hose it came with. And then this little filler cap thing here, which is kind of neat. I liked it, you know, that's why I got it, but I don't even think that would fit in the hole. How the hell is that supposed to work? Huh, alright. We may have to find a piece of hose to replace that with.
Okay.
And we'll just use the, here's our factory filler here. We just need a piece of hose that big. Well, I'll have to go to O'Reilly tomorrow and see if they have some kind of fuel fill hose. In the meantime, let's change the other thing that leaks horribly bad, the radiator. I got a new El Cheapo unit from Amazon. They work just fine if you're not pushing a bunch of engine through them, and we're not. All we gotta do is unbolt this. Actually, all I gotta do is just pull hard on that and then pull the radiator out. There, radiator's uninstalled. It's coming!
Ah! Oh, it's going everywhere.
Anyway.
Oh, there.
Yep. We try to do everything really clean around here. So I'm gonna make some radiator isolators that it looks like someone used some like bamboo for. We'll do them one better and cut up one of the old radiator hoses. You stick them down in here, and then the radiator can at least have some rubber to sit on. I think this thing was only like 120 bucks on Amazon. There. Kinda?
Yep. Bend it up, and definitely not supposed to be that way, but
Yeah. Huh?
yeah.
Not bad. Shim this up a little bit so it actually pushed down on the top of the radiator. On one new hose, I reused the lower hose because it didn't look bad, and the 4 hoses I bought, not a single one of them fitted, so I don't know what the hell this thing's cobbled together with, and well, I don't really care. And we'll burp it later when we tune it up, but just at least there's something in it so we won't forget. I'm going to throw the old sending unit back in the new tank because I didn't get one. It'll be fine. Before we fill this thing up, I'm going to go ahead and replace all the rubber lines on it all the way up to the pump, and probably, obviously get rid of that death filter there. We got one here. I think we have one at the fuel pump as well. Somebody's been here not too long ago because those are like fuel injection style hose clamps, and the hose is still pliable. Okay, how is this leaking? That doesn't make any sense. Ah, there we are. That looks better. JD just cut the exhaust off his Kia and is out ripping it around. Pretty cool. JD's gonna change the oil in the thing. I'm gonna keep replacing these fuel hoses up here, just out of an abundance of caution. We got our new tires too, so we'll get those mounted up, get the truck back on the ground, clean it out, and then we'll give it a little tune-up. How is it? Gritty?
A little bit. Not that bad, though.
Good. These things are really good for burning your car down. Don't use these glass filters. One of you guys sent in a whole, like, damn near a crate of 3/8 inline fuel filters, metal and plastic. So we'll use the metal one on this because it's under the hood here. And our fuel system is all refurbished. JD's going to fill this thing up with some Rotella. Yeah, it doesn't have enough zinc for flat tappet engines, but it is a 6-banger, so it doesn't need quite as much. Less stress on the components in there. Got to save that $10 on the zinc additive. We're flipping this baby. So if you buy it, put some zinc in it.
Yeah, just an exhaust.
See, not having a ratchet strap holding the truck together, it's a big selling point. Someone looks under it and they see a ratchet strap holding the truck together, they're going to be like, whoa, that's not right. But now that the truck isn't held together at all, then they don't even know. How did they do this? That's just a glass pack. It's like perfectly flat on the bottom. Like, it's very well done how they did that. New tires are always a good selling point. And painting the wheels saved quite a bit of money. And our lug nuts here are from lugnutguys.com. Use code PBG to save some kind of amount of money. I don't really remember. But anyway, buy your lug nuts there because you're not going to find them at cheaper anywhere else. Guaranteed. By me, personally, not them. They don't want me to say that, probably. But, yeah. Cut. I wish I had the center caps for these. I don't think I have any push-in center caps.
No.
That size. Slim down. Oh.
Oh.
So let's give this turd a tune-up. I don't have any new plug wires for it, so these just magically turned out just fine. It's crazy how that worked. You can't buy a kit for them, and I thought I had a custom kit where you make them yourself, but I don't. So these suddenly look a lot better. This is a car lock trick. Look at that. The oil immediately starts to run off. Now I'm using super clean. Old school would be to use gunk, like gunk engine degreaser. You wipe them off, dries the shit out of the silicone, but makes them look like brand new. So your prospective buyer opens the hood and goes, wow, it's got new spark plug wires. I'm going to have JD open up the plug gaps on these to 45, and then that should play better with this HEI. Turns out this is a 76, like mid-70s HEI. And I ended up having to get a cap for a 1976, and that does look correct. So we'll swap that out. It needed that pretty bad, and it especially needed a rotor. That cap is what I would call well used. Try to put a belt on this thing. We're going to keep the generator on it for one reason, and that's that it would cost me money otherwise. And since it's a flip, we want to minimize expenses. See that? That's the water pump.
Oh no. That's fine.
I gotta go do a live stream. So JD, can you pull this water pump off? I think it's bad. We should replace that probably.
Right. Yeah.
Get a clean bucket and to catch the coolant we just put in.
Okay.
You know, that's it.
So we ran into a bit of a problem. This bolt there it's pretty much bottom out on the fan there, and I can't get it to go any further, which is kind of a problem because I can't get the bolt out. And this one's super tight, so I don't really know what to do. I think I might get my dad for this. So I'm probably just gonna do everything else, like undo these hoses and maybe loosen up those bolts. I got the clutch fan out, but I had to bend them all the way down there just to get it out. And I tightened them, and it finally just popped off. So that took way too long, but I got it off. I'll probably just hit that with something to get it off, but then I can actually take the water pump off. Here we go. It's a small water pump.
So you broke a bolt off.
Yes.
God. The one that adjusts the generator too. The only one that broke.
Only one that matters.
That's how it always goes. We'll see if we can get it out of there. If not, we'll figure something out.
Yeah. Probably that stuck bolt.
Yeah. Yeah, bearing shot in it. It needed replaced, I guess. Now we have to get that damn bolt out of there.
Yeah.
Or something. Talk about luck. That damn thing is loose. The one that broke off?
Yeah.
It's coming right out.
I must have just got it loose just a little bit.
And then it snapped. That never happens. Very, very lucky. Of course, we won't have our water pump till tomorrow, but at least we got this dealt with tonight. Yeah. Let me get this bolt out of here. And what do you say we maybe start putting the grill and stuff back in?
Sure.
We're going to take a break in this just because they just showed up. But Pole Barn Garage wife beaters now available at polebarnmerch.com. And Racerback ladies tank tops.
Yes!
That's really
These
nice.
are awesome. Nice.
That looks less trashy than mine. If you want to look like white trash, buy this tank top. Well, we pretty well unloaded the parts out of the bed of this. We do have a rear bumper, and I don't think we can put it on. We have a grill panel that might fit. I think we need to remove the front bumper to put that on. And we do have the grill there, and an extra fender over here. Now this does have, it looks to me like it's got 66 cow panels and 65 fenders on it. Or maybe I'm backwards. I don't know what that's going to affect. Probably a lot of things. Whatever.
You have self-tappers though?
Yeah, we'll just screw it on there. Looks like that grill shell isn't going to go on there, because this bumper's smashed over here holding the fender in. Let's just take the bumper off and just leave it off. It's trashed anyway. There we go. That looks better already. This guy. down in there like that, right?
Yep.
So like that. We gotta take that bolt back out here.
Yeah.
Okay, our grill shell is in. Now we have to put the grill in. Looks like it bolts from the inside. You know, I will never for the life of me understand why people think that step one of putting a car together is to completely disassemble it. Like, it's not. Fix what needs fixed. And then drive it. Then fix it little by little over time. You don't fix the whole thing at once unless you're rich. This is what happens. Probably 75% of the time. It gets totally disassembled, left in pieces, everything goes to hell. Alright, I'll hold it up here. You get a couple bolts up. Using up all my precious fender bolts. Putting this thing together. I've had these stashed for a long time. So, it does come close to latching, but it's angled out a little bit, probably because of this mess. I'm just going to see if I can just tweak it up a little bit. It's definitely going to be a slammer.
That's better.
That's a lot better. I'm going to go a little bit more. Latches. Felt okay latching. And
Oh, yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a hood now. We got to tighten up, like these fenders are missing all the damn bolts. So we should tighten those up as much as we can. Tighten these cowl pieces. They're all just sitting on it. Hey, this whole thing's rotted away under here.
Yeah. There's nowhere to put a self-tapper.
Yeah, it's all made out of expandable foam. So we need to make a piece of metal to attach here and then up in here where it's still good. This is a starter shim. It will work very well to attach this fender back to the truck. Load up the self-tapper, fire it through the starter shim. Straight into the expandable foam. Look at that! Perfect. So like those that have come before me, I will just shoot apparently an entire hemisphere of self-tapping screws into the fender to hold it on. You can tell they've just shot them in there one by one by one as the fender rotted away. But I got it to stick, so. You see how down this thing is? I thought it was the cab, but it's not actually. It's just the bed. And it's because the wood in these things is actually somewhat structural. It actually holds the bed together. So I think if we just put a piece of wood under it, we can at least get this thing to be level again. I mean, I'm not replacing the floor in this, so somebody will. Fixed.
Well, no, that side needs to go up maybe a little bit.
There.
That's
that?
pretty good.
Yeah.
That's perfect, actually.
Or we could bolt and nut it to the bed brace. I mean, at least it wouldn't go anywhere, that's for sure. Now I will bolt the 2x4 into the truck. And huzzah. It's solid. Like a rock. This bumper is not for this truck, or something. Somebody's taken a torch to the back of this frame here. I don't know why. And the bed is actually sitting over the frame. But it has pieces of rubber shoved in between the frame and the bed.
Yeah.
The whole frame's been painted with red oxide primer. I am thoroughly confused. I'm not going to look into it too hard. We were going to put the tailgate on, but it's missing all of the hinge hardware. So we're going to see if it's in here somewhere. Oh, that's a tailgate hinge part right there on the dash. That's the trunnion.
That's nice.
Yep, there's a piece of Romex here. That's mighty fancy. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Yeah, I think they were using this piece of Romex to make the rocker. I don't know. Creative, to say the least. 2 brand new rockers in here, huh? Or just one? No, 2. Selling point. Comes with sheet metal. Well, I put the one trunnion we had on. These are locking latches on this one. So you actually rotate that up, set it there, put your hook in it, and that will hold the tailgate on. I threw the trim bezels back in. JD's gonna put this door panel on. He put the wing window frame in and the regulator in, because at least it looks more complete, right? Tomorrow we'll throw a water pump on this thing, get it fired up again, and make sure it's running good. Put some gas in it, you know.
Yeah.
And then she should be done, I think. I mean, as done as we're gonna get her. We'll throw it up for sale and see if we get any takers. I'm gonna screw this transmission tunnel thing down again. So I'll just use self-tappers to do that, just like they did. I can reinstall the gas pedal. Aha! Yeah, we're back out today. JD's trying to find some bolts for the fan on the water pump because he was fighting those pretty good. We got a new water pump. I'm gonna go ahead and just Krylon rebuild this thing. I have like half a can of Chevy Orange here. Perfect. Good enough. It'll take the valve cover at least, and that's pretty much all that matters on this. Totally rebuilt. Well, actually, we went for the aged look here. You see, you'll look at that and go, oh, I don't think that's ever been rebuilt. Wow, just a really clean, original example. Get our new water pump on here. Freshly rebuilt crate engine here. It's a good cheapy O'Reilly one that has a stamped impeller, so, you know, it'll last about 5,000 miles. I've done my due diligence and replaced it. I knew it was bad, and I would feel bad if we sold it to someone, and I knew that something was really catastrophically wrong with it. I'm just going to put a light coat of RTV on the pump surface, put a new gasket on. JD found 4 studs to put in the fan instead of the 2 bolts that were holding it on before. The bolts are alright, except for they were too long and he couldn't get them out. I'm just about to install our new belt, but you'll notice, look, it doesn't wobble anymore. Oh, almost forgot this part. It's kind of an important one. Wow. Hopefully it doesn't leak. That'd be pretty cool. Hey, we should get some like towels to sit on in this thing.
Yeah.
Not much seat left, is there? Before we go drive this thing, we should probably do something about that and give it a quick shop vac. You want to pick up some of that loose crap in the floor, Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah, keep those ignition modules. Those are good.
Yummy.
I thought that was a blanket. Turns out it's Grandma's couch pillow. But look, a pair of pliers.
Yeah.
Hey, those are good pliers. Okay, so we'll just put that back.
Yeah. The whole nest under the seat.
There's a nest under. Oh, pack rat nest. JD found the other trunnion for the tailgate underneath the seat there, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on.
I have extracted their home from under the seat. Looks a lot better though.
Yeah. I'm just wiping down the dash and stuff. And oh, come check out the tailgate. Functioning
nice.
tailgate now.
Yeah.
Cool. You gotta do something about this seat. I have this old scrap piece of foam here that I've been using to patch seats up for a while, but yeah, it's just kind of taking up space. So I think we just make 2 seat backs and it should be a little more comfortable. Ah, look at that, huh? Bunch of old bath towels. These have been around for a while. It's time for them to go to a better home. Somebody actually wrapped a bunch of stuff they sent me in these whiskey towels here, so they're going to good use. Check this genius out. You just zip tie the towels to the back of the seat. Then they don't fall off. Pretty smart, huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Looking good. That's full custom there. I call it modern upholstery. Modern art. Modern upholstery. It's a piece to make you think.
Yeah.
I call it white trash. Well, our upholstery work is finished. Let's burp this thing. Let that thermostat open up. We'll let it sit here and run until we can burp it. This thing's been sitting for 24 years. I'm gonna put some ATF down the car to see if we get those rings to seat a little bit. Suck it down now. That's perfect. Big old air bubbles out of it.
Starting to suck it down.
Yeah, we're at 195. Thermostat's open. The hose is hot. That's good.
All right,
We'll fill it up and go take it for a drive. Worked really good. Look how far I gotta let this out. There's very little clutch left. What is it? The freaking bed rails are like a wind chime.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the clutch slipping. Ah. Smoking a little bit. That actually drives pretty good. Oh my God! How? Ah. Dude,
It's in my eyes.
it's coming out of the roof. It drives really good. Oh. Alright, it really needs a clutch. Oh, he stopped to visit some friends here, but so I hope it starts back up. Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, this thing's a good truck.
Except the clutch.
Other than that clutch thing, but a clutch is like, what, 50 bucks for this? I mean, big deal. I'd put one in it, we're just out of time. This would be a really good truck for someone to learn on. Not bad. No. It felt good there for a minute. Transmission feels great. Is the bed still there?
Yep.
Okay, good. Oh. Alright, yeah, no bank shifting.
Yep.
Good truck. It ain't smoking a bit. I drive the hell out of it. Well, I made it back. Where am I gonna park this thing?
I don't know.
It's got too many damn cars, which is why we need to sell this one, unfortunately. Thinking of go for a scenic drive. Ride's great.
Doesn't ride that bad.
No, it's actually pretty good. What about right here? There it is. It runs, drives, and stops. New tires. You throw a clutch in that, I wouldn't hesitate to drive that thing probably anywhere. It runs really good, and it is not smoking a bit anymore. She really came around. I'm tempted to throw a clutch in it, but I mean, just look around here. I don't need this.
And here's where I offered the truck up for sale to subscribers, but I did make a post about it for Low Buck Club members who get first dibs on everything I sell. For 99 cents a month, you can join too. And, well, I already sold it.
Thanks for watching Pole Barn Garage and the resurrection of this 65 Chevy C10. We'll see you guys next time as we're working on something a little bit worse than this. Stay tuned for that. I've been done filming this video for a few days, and I put it up for sale to members of the Low Buck Club, which you can join for 99 cents a month. Well, somebody bought it. They're local. It's new owners, and they're going to take it to the next level, which is what it needs. Someone with time and, you know, more time than I have to give it. You fit my requirements of not tearing the car into pieces. Do not tear the truck into pieces. Again, they don't even know what the video looks like. Well, so it went to a good home. So don't email me about it. Okay, it's gone. You can email me about something else if you want, but not this one.
Plenty of other selection, yeah.
We'll see you.